Hey, healthy people, Dr. Josh McMillan with Complete Wellness coming at you again. This talk, we had so much fun. We talked about the top 5 mistakes you are making with your diet. It was great. We had a really good time. But next time, I really want to encourage you to attend in person because we had 20 minutes extra of a Q&A that we did not show on this video. So when you're there in person, you get to ask whatever questions you want, and people found it extremely helpful. So I hope you enjoyed this talk, and I hope to see you in person next time. The information that I have here, each of these things that we talk about can be its own lecture, and we can talk hours upon all this stuff, right? The problem is that there's something called nutritionalism. It's a common issue now where you go on YouTube, you Google something, and you're going to get all kinds of information that is all contradictory, right? So what I want to do is I want to give you basic foundational things that you can build your nutrition on. But first, before we talk about what to eat, we're going to talk about why you should eat the things you eat and what's motivating you to eat. So today we're talking about the top 5 mistakes you're making with your diet. Name that movie. Right? Great movie, right? Especially when it comes to diet, because this guy's diet is terrible because he's an elf, right? So we're going to be talking about these 5 things. Eating for the wrong reasons. This is your number one problem right here. If your diet is poor, it's not what you're eating, it's why you're eating. Your motivation is wrong. And that's a whole weekend workshop. That's a Tony Robbins workshop right there, right? So that's huge. Eating too much or too often, well, that makes a lot of sense. It's all about calories in, calories out. I'm going to give you very practical things that you can do to help understand the amount of calories you're supposed to eat, but also to help burn more calories throughout the day, okay? We're going to have a lot of practical information. Get your phones out. Don't look at them while I'm talking, but when I tell you to, you're going to pick your phones up and you're going to take some pictures of slides. In order for me to get through this information quickly, I'm going to say, take a picture of this slide. You're going to refer back to it later. Okay, I want this information to be super practical. You might be eating at the wrong times. You're definitely eating the wrong things, for sure. And you're eating without thinking about the effects on your body. And this is the thing that most people are absolutely ignorant about. This is what's going to help you today, during lunch, figure out what's going on with you here, and then figure out how it's affecting your body. If you start to understand how the things you're putting in your mouth are affecting your body, you will eat healthier, period. That is a foundational principle, and that will guide you long term. Make sense? All right, moving forward. First thing, eating for the wrong reasons. This is one of my favorite quotes. Being healthy and fit isn't everything. There's more to life than that, right? But everything is harder when you're not healthy and fit. Think about that for a second. Is there anything in your life that your health does not impact? Not a single thing. Not a thing. Everything is impacted by your health, right? Your health isn't everything in life, but everything in life is impacted by your health. So your health should be foundational, right? So when it comes to thinking about what you're eating, start there. Understand that being healthy and being fit affects everything in your life. If you want your life to be easier, be healthy, period. So when you eat, you're either fighting a disease or you're feeding it. You're either healing your body or you're hurting it. All right, so pop quiz time. What'd y'all have for breakfast? Just throw it out. What'd you have for breakfast?
Yogurt and some berries.
Love it.
Berries.
Right. Some bacon and eggs. All right. When you guys were eating your breakfast this morning, who didn't eat breakfast this morning? Pretty common. Okay, yeah. When you guys are eating your breakfast this morning, were you thinking about, is this going to be good for my body or is this going to be hurting my body? Because there are only 2 options, you guys. Only 2. You're either helping your body or you're hurting your body, right? So when you all want to have some fun and relax over the weekend, what do you typically eat? What is your go-to food when you want to have fun and enjoy yourself? Just throw it out. Pizza? Sweets? Burger and fries? So we got the salty and we got the sweets, right? Steak? Yes, sir. Oh, a good ribeye? Yes, with some marbling on it? Absolutely. A little crust on it. I'm hungry for lunch already. So yeah, absolutely. So the question is, are you eating because you want to help your body or hurt it, right? Now, there is no such thing as perfection in life. You cannot have a perfect diet. It's impossible. I'm not telling you to have a perfect diet. We'll talk about this mentality later, but it's the 80-20 principle, right? So if you want to have fun and have that pizza and have that burger and fries and have some of those sweets, cool. 20% of the time do that. 80% of the time, feed your body stuff that makes your body healthier. Make sense? People kind of do like cheat meals and stuff like that. So my bottom line here, make good choices. That's all I got to do. Make good choices. Make more good choices than bad choices, knowing that when you make the good choice, you're feeding your body what it needs to heal. All right. Why you eat is just as important as what you eat. So here are some really important questions. Feel free to take a picture of this slide and then share it with your significant others, your kids. First of all, you're asking, what are your goals? If your goal is to be healthy, then pizza every single day may not be the best bet. Sweets, definitely not the best bet. When do you eat and why? This right here, oh no, the pointer doesn't show up on the TV. When do you eat and why? That right there, that is like Tony Robbins, right? That is motivational, that is life-changing. That is, we got to figure out what's going on in your head. Typically, you eat when you think you're hungry, right? Well, it turns out that most of the time, that hunger is your blood sugars dropping. You're not actually hungry, you don't need more food. Your blood sugar's dropping, so you need to put something in your mouth, right? Sometimes. Then sometimes it's because you're happy. It's because you're sad. It's because you're depressed. It's because you're watching sports. You know the football commercials? The ones Jerry Rice was in it. They're talking about how sports is there to sell food. That is totally true, right? Who here watches sports and doesn't eat while you're watching sports? Sports makes me hungry all the time, right? We actually have specific food in our house for the sports. We have basketball food, we have football food, and my wife gets all into it, and she's a great cook. Now, she cooks healthy food as much as possible, but food nonetheless, and it's specific to the sport, and it's a lot of fun. She just got into hockey, which is the weirdest thing ever, because she's never watched hockey ever. She stumbled upon a Canes game, and she's like, I'm a Canes fan now. I'm like, well, that's cool. Let's have some hockey food. Have you ever Googled hockey food? It's fried junk. We're like, all right, let's have some different kind of food. But we're eating because we want to enjoy some sort of thing, right? When you get together with your friends and celebrate something, what do? When somebody dies, I did not know this. I am from the West Coast, from California. You're in the South. When somebody dies, afterwards, after you're at the church, where do you go? You eat. My wife's grandfather died. I met her family at the funeral. It wasn't like before the funeral. It was, hi, I'm Josh, sorry for your loss. Super awkward, right? I impressed them because apparently it's important to eat a lot when you're in the South. And I love to eat. So afterwards, we went over to the grandmother's house. Food everywhere. I didn't know anybody. So in order for me not to talk, I just start eating, right? And he's a good eater. Oh, he's a good eater. You picked it, he's a good eater. I'm like, it bodes well for me that this impresses you, right? So we eat to impress people. We eat to be with people. We eat when we're happy. We eat when we're sad. And we always eat when we're bored. How many people, when you're bored, you don't eat? My teenagers, oh my gosh, I'm hungry. My son does this. He walks around, opens the refrigerator, closes the refrigerator, walks around, opens the refrigerator. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I don't know, I'm bored. So you go to the refrigerator? But we're trained to do that, right? So we eat when we're bored all the time. Do you live to eat or do you eat to live? That's a mentality issue, right? Do you want to just eat enough to be healthy and survive, or do you love to eat? How many of you here eat just because it's a good idea and I like to eat, but food doesn't motivate you? No? How many of you here love to eat? Like eating is fun. I look forward to my cheat meal, right? I look forward to going to a good restaurant and eating some good food, right? So do you eat to live or do you live to eat? What emotions are driving you to eat? That's an important question. Anxiety and depression drive you to eat. They typically drive you to eat bad foods for you that actually make your anxiety and depression worse. All right? Very important questions. Food is closely linked to our emotions. You start to identify the emotion attached to the food, and you're sitting here watching TV, or you've had a really hard day and you're stressed and you want to come home and have our comfort food. Well, then you have an idea of why you're eating what you're eating. What is your favorite comfort food? Just shout it out.
Mac and cheese.
Ice cream, mac and cheese. Favorite comfort food? Popcorn? Mm-hmm. Sweets, right? Absolutely. Like you're upset, you're depressed, you've had a hard day. That's where you're going to. You're going for that comfort food, right? All right. Now, identify those triggers. What's upsetting you? Manage your stress. The more you manage your stress, the more healthy you're going to eat. Evaluate your motivation for change. This, I find very, very motivational. This is, first of all, I mean, come on, seriously. But this idea is important, right? Everyone must choose one of two pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. You can be this guy. We see this guy all the time in our office. All the time, right? We have a few of these in our office. And those people, they motivate me. I'm like, what? What do you do? What do you eat? Like those guys they're 80, 85. They're still golfing. They're going on cruises. The other doctor that I work with, Dr. Mike Borget, this is what he says. Do you want to be in a retirement home or a cruise ship when you get older? Right? You want to be active. Do you really want to be in a retirement home? My parents are morbidly obese. My mom has had 3 strokes. My dad is dealing with prostate cancer right now. A large part of their health issues has been their diet from day one. I was raised on cereal, sugar, Burger King, Taco Bell. I was raised on some terrible food that's not actually food, and now I'm suffering consequences because of it. So you understand what you put in your body will hurt you if it's the wrong thing. And it's hurting your kids. They don't know any better. That's super important to understand. So think about what you want long term, reevaluate that, and that'll motivate you. All right, eating too much or too often. Here we go. Calories in, calories out. It's still a thing. It's still basic math, basic metabolism. Problem number 1, you don't know how much to eat. Problem number 2, your metabolism might be a little slow, right? So get your phones out, take a picture of this, go through this, look over it, study it, eat it up. So there's 2 basic issues here, right? Calories out, calories in. Let's talk about calories out. Here's how you're going to increase your metabolism right now. First thing you're going to do, NEAT exercises, NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, meaning burning calories throughout the day. The NEAT exercise, you burn way more calories by doing just normal day-to-day things than you do at the gym, because you're at the gym for maybe 30 minutes to an hour. There's tons, if you Google NEAT exercises and NEAT exercise studies, there's a mountain of evidence that suggests that we are just way too sedentary. Well, duh, right? But they're actually finding that that is way more important than going to the gym. Way more important. What that means is it means park further away, walk more, go for walks throughout the day. If you're sitting at a desk, you get one of those pedals that you can pedal while you're sitting at the desk. Even better, stand. Stand at a desk. Because standing, nobody can sit in one position the entire time or stand in one position the entire time. Usually you're doing this. You're shifting your weight, right? That's movement. That's NEAT movement right there. There are so many things you can do throughout the day to improve your NEAT movement. That will increase your metabolism like that. That'll burn so many more calories throughout the day. Second thing, eat food that takes energy to burn, like protein. Protein synthesis, making protein, and protein breakdown take more energy. It takes ATP. It takes calories to break down protein. If you have a diet dominant in protein, you will lose more weight because you're just burning calories breaking it down. Does that make sense? It's not rocket science. It just makes sense, right? So eat thermic effective food, protein. Increase your basic metabolic rate, your metabolism, build muscle at the gym, build muscle at the gym, build muscle at the gym. Dr. Sharp, Lieutenant Sharp, right, you're like, it sounds right, good, right? He burns way more calories a day than I do right now because the amount of muscle mass that this man has, right? Muscle mass burns calories. Ladies, you don't need to be huge like that. You don't need to be jacked. But the more muscle mass you have, the more you're going to burn calories throughout the day. Just sitting there, you're going to be burning more calories, okay? Lower your stress levels, sleep a lot more. Try to get 8 hours of sleep. Shoot for that 8 hours of sleep. Most people get that 7.5, 6, if they're shooting for 8, right? All right. Now, calories in. This is some complicated math. I try to make it super simple for you. I'm using a 184-pound person as an example. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to take your current weight. First thing in the morning, get up, go to the bathroom, get on the scale. That's your current weight, okay? Butt naked. No clothes on or anything, right? Going to take that, multiply that by 13. There's complicated why it's 13. I'm not going to get into it. Multiply that by 13. That's the number of calories a day that you should be eating to maintain. All right? Then, if you want to start losing weight, you're going to reduce it by 500 calories during that day. Why 500 calories? Because 1 pound of fat equals 3,500 calories. You have 7 days a week, 500 calories. Make sense? So if you want to lose a pound a week, which is the healthy way to do it, you're going to reduce that number by 500 calories. So in this example, reduced it by 500 calories, 1892. That's basically 1,800 calories. Do round numbers, it's totally fine. So if I'm 184, I'm shooting for 1,800 calories a day if I want to lose 1 pound a week. Easy peasy. Safest, most healthiest way to do it. Easiest to sustain, by the way, 1 pound a week. All right. Now, what does that mean for what you're eating? Well, first of all, we talked about thermic effective foods, right? Protein's super important. So what you do is you eat your weight in protein, in grams of protein. So 184-pound person is going to eat 184 grams of protein per day. Protein is 4 calories per gram. With me so far? 4 calories per gram means 736 calories a day alone from protein. By the way, if you eat that amount of protein, your blood sugar is going to regulate, and you'll be way less hungry throughout the day. You're going to get to the point where you're like, dang, I have to eat more calories because protein just fills you up. So that's 736 calories. Now, fat-wise, depending on the person, nobody go below 50 grams of fat a day. Low-fat diet is super unhealthy. It's a terrible idea. I have proof. The proof is several decades ago, the United States went low-fat, right? With a huge low-fat kick. Are we healthier or sicker than ever? Sicker, right? Diabetes is through the roof. We went, oh, that was the problem. That was never the problem. There's a book called the Cholesterol Myth. Oh, it's so good, right? So minimum of 50 grams of fat. So if this person does the minimum, that's 450 calories because fat is 9 calories per gram, okay? That means between that and that, they have an idea of how much the calories they're eating. The rest is carbohydrates. If you go protein, fat, carbohydrates, and carbohydrates in the form of vegetables specifically, you're going to lose weight like that. Not only that, you guys, you're going to feel so much better. I'm not saying never carbs. I'm not saying carbs are bad. I'm saying if you want to lose weight, and if you want to maintain a healthy weight, we have found this is the hierarchy. Protein, fat, then carbs, right? Make sense? Very few people lose weight on a high carb diet. Very few people, if any, lose weight on a high carb diet because carbs spike your blood sugar. That's a whole nother lecture. All right, so you all got this, right? I went through the math, but just kind of think, all right, move more, eat less, eat protein, eat some fat, and a few carbs, okay? Your carbs, best source of your carbs, vegetables, 100%. That's why they're there. All right, moving on. Eating at the wrong times. Have you ever noticed that we load our calories at the end of the day? I have been curious about this, and I've been talking about this. I've been in practice for 16 years. For 15 years, year one, I was like, this is weird. Why do we do this? You guys tell me, why do we do this? Why do we load our calories at the end of the day and then go to sleep? Because that's when we have time because it's busy during the day, right? But that's also like, that's when we're all getting together, right? Dinner. Like there's a social aspect to food that we have to figure out how to overcome because right now we're crazy. Like people are eating at the wrong times. Has anybody ever been to Brazil? I went to Brazil and they know how to eat, first of all. Oh man, their food is so good. It's not all junked up like our food is. They have a huge lunch and almost no dinner whatsoever. And they are way healthier than we are. Way healthier. So if you think about this, if you want to do something different, if you want to really change things up, get a little crazy, during the week, eat a bigger breakfast, a big lunch, and almost no dinner, and just see what happens to your body. Maybe just changing when you're eating those calories will change how many calories you're actually storing in the matter of fat. Make sense? Now, most people, I've heard about intermittent fasting at this point, right? All right, let's be very specific and technical. Fasting is 24 hours. Fasting is only 24 hours, right? So most people are not doing intermittent fasting because they're not fasting for 24 hours. They're doing what's called time-delayed fasting, where they'll fast for 16 hours and then eat for 10. That's not right. Eat for 8. My math got really off. 26 hours? Nobody called me out on that either. Eat for 8, so 16, 8. They usually fast from 6 to 10 a.m. and eat from 10 to 6, right? That's the typical intermittent fasting. Totally fine, totally healthy. Your body needs to fast. It needs that break. It's so good for your mitochondria. It's so good for your body. I can get into that all I want. But bottom line is fasting's okay. But what if you were to kind of switch that around? Fast over dinner. So you still got some calories, and then overnight while you're sleeping doing nothing, your body's burning fat for fuel. Doesn't that make more sense? Now, can we do it? I've tried it. It's interesting. I'm waking up at I was going to bed at 9:30. I'm like, man, I'm kind of hungry. So you got to get used to it. But just what if we did that? It'd be super interesting. Anyway, so you might be eating at the wrong time. Give it a shot. There's a popular influencer, researcher, Thomas DeLauer. I like him. I like his research. He knows what he's talking about. He highly recommends. He has one on how to get to 10% body fat. And he's like, one of the best things you can do, skip dinner. Eat breakfast and lunch instead. I was like, interesting. All right, moving on. Eating the wrong things. This is what y'all want to know. Everybody's like, yeah, I don't care about why I eat. I don't care about when to eat. How much to eat? Okay, but what do I eat? Everybody's like, what do I eat? I'm going to try to make this very simple. You already know protein, some fat, and some carbs, right? Now, this right here, anti-inflammatory diet, is what we typically put most patients on when they want to come in and they want to lose some weight. Okay? We put them on the anti-inflammatory diet. We say follow this diet for 30 days. I'm going to show you what the diet looks like. A good strategy is to do the anti-inflammatory diet as I have it laid out for the 30 days and then shift a little bit the percentages so you can eat long term. All right, here we go. Get your phones out. You want to know what to eat? Eat the green, eat the yellow, avoid the red. All right, lecture over. Thanks a lot. That was great. Easy peasy. So here's the thing. 80-20 principle. What you do 80% of the time defines your health, not 20%. 80% of the time defines your health, not 20%. Okay? So 80% of the time, eat the good stuff. 20% of the time, eat some of this stuff. These things here are mildly inflammatory. That's why we're on an anti-inflammatory diet. You really want to focus on these things over here and limit these. On an anti-inflammatory diet, you got to avoid these because these are highly inflammatory. All of these are highly inflammatory foods, okay? Now, if you don't want to do the anti-inflammatory diet, then a good healthy diet is to shift this. Do 80% this, 20% these. Makes sense, right? Because if you're eating 20%, some like the pizzas and the sugars and stuff like that for just 20% of the time, you'll be okay. Unless you have a really highly inflammatory body. If you're super inflamed, if you're hurting all the time, if you got brain fog, we'll talk about that stuff. If you got all that stuff, then you need to do the anti-inflammatory and you need to do it super good for a while and then start to shift things. Okay? So that's this slide. There's the next one. Take a picture of that. I did not include every single food known to man, but I did include the most common foods that we eat. With this guide, huge number of people have not only lost weight, but they feel a ton better. The first thing they feel is they start to sleep better at night. It's highly impactful, okay? So, the avoid, this is all the bad stuff. Now, I don't know if you know what's in your food, but I can tell you that most of the American diet is made up of this and that. It's processed food. If it's in a box, it's processed. It's going to have some of this stuff in it. It's really sad, right? Here's some other clues to let you know that you're doing something right or something wrong. If you're shopping around the perimeter of the store, you're doing something right. That's where all the cold stuff is, right? If your refrigerator is filled with food, but your pantry is kind of thin, you're doing something right. You should not want to eat food that you can store for a long time. Why? Right. It's got a bunch of junk in it. Right? So reach for the stuff that goes bad pretty fast. Right? What's more healthy? A box of crackers that lasts a long time, or a banana that goes bad fast in like 3 days in the South?
Banana.
Right? Right? Okay. Natural colors, super important. Comes from a plant, not made in a plant. This website right here, take a picture of this. EWG, Environmental Working Group. They have something called the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. Look that up. It will tell you what you should actually eat organic. Believe it or not, you don't have to buy organic bananas. Why? Because they've got a big old rind around them, right? You got to peel a banana to eat it. Oranges, they don't really need to be organic because they've got the rind around them, right? Blueberries, absolutely organic. Why? Because they soak up all of the pesticides. Does it make sense? This will save you tons of money, but also make sure that you understand what's in your food as well. Great website. The other is the Yucca app, Y-U-K-A. Yeah, you got the app? Last time I talked about it, people were like, oh yeah, I'm going to download that app right now. Dude, the Yucca app is awesome. You go to the store, you take a picture of what you're about to buy, it will rate and tell you how bad that thing is. Then it will give you some alternatives. It's awesome. Yucca, Y-U-K-A. Write that down. Tattoo it on your body. I don't care. It is so good. You got to be knowing what you're putting in your body, right?
Yeah, I switched my soaps because of that.
Oh, our soaps are so gross. Once you learn what's in your soap, you're like, dang, ignorance was bliss. Our soaps are nasty. We got stuff, you guys, we got stuff in our soap that is banned in all other countries because it's a neurotoxin. I have a whole little blurb about that. All right, moving on. Most inflammatory foods. Take a picture of this. Most inflammatory foods, most common food intolerances. Not every single person should avoid gluten. But probably most people should because it's so highly inflammatory now. Dairy, highly inflammatory. Sugar, the most inflammatory food that you're putting in your body. And you love doing it. Right? Oh, so good. Like it affects your brain. Right? Sweet tea, oh my gosh. When I came to the South, the first thing, my wife took me to a Bojangles. I didn't get any food. She's like, Southern California, right? Our sweet tea, they give us tea, and then they're like, here's little packets of sugar, right? No, the Bojangles sweet tea, like it was like syrup and tea. It's like, oh my gosh, it's diabetes. My teeth hurt. It was crazy, right? That sweet tea, you guys, that gives you an endorphin rush. That affects your brain the same way that street drugs affect your brain. Sugar is crazy addictive to your body and to your brain and highly inflammatory, right? So those other things. So basically the bottom line with this is if you want to start feeling better and you're like, I don't know what I should do, maybe follow that, maybe not, at least eliminate the top five most common intolerances and the top 5 most common inflammatory foods.
You see the alcohol, a lot of people don't know that alcohol is nothing but sugar nowadays.
Yeah, it's really sad.
It's not made out of like they used to make it back in the day.
Right.
It's pure sugar now.
Right.
Your beer.
It's crazy. The beer is so bad. It's got gluten. It's got sugar. It's people talk about a beer gut for a reason, right? It makes people gain weight like that. It's water weight too. Oh my gosh, it's so bad. So yeah, unfortunately, alcohol has to be up there. I didn't really want to put it up there, but it has to be up there for sure. Yeah. All right. So last but not least, eating without thinking about the effects on your body. Here's what you all don't know. Here's what Americans are absolutely ignorant about. When you eat, you're either doing what or what? Healing or hurting your body. What do I mean by hurting your body? What kind of effects does food have on your body? Think about it. The way that you know how important something is to your body is how long you can go without it. All right? So you're like, wait a minute, you can go without food for really, people can go without food for 3 weeks. You can go without food for a long time. Just watch the TV show alone, right? So fine, maybe food's not super important to your daily living. So, but wait, you can go without water for 3 days. You can go out without oxygen for 3 minutes. It's the rule of threes, right? Oxygen is super important, right? Can you go 1 second without your nervous system? Can you live without your brain and spinal cord and your nerves? Do you see how important that is to your body? Did you know that when you eat, it affects your nervous system first? The proof? You can taste it. The first thing your body does is senses that food through taste. By the way, your digestive system, your digestion starts in your mouth. So chew your food a lot. A lot. Like it's got to be liquid before you swallow it down. Okay? The nervous system starts right there. Your brain goes, okay, this is food. It's super cool. We can test people's nervous system. We can introduce the food and then test their nervous system again and see what happens to the body. It's called muscle testing. It's some magic woo-woo stuff. It's awesome, right? Because it's all neurologic. So you don't understand how your food is affecting your body. What's happening is it's giving you inflammation. Bad food causes inflammation. You can have pain. You can have inflammation without pain, but you can't have pain without inflammation. How many of you here have pain at some point? Nobody has pain? Right? Guess what? You got inflammation. Okay? Okay, cool. Take an anti-inflammatory. Just take some drugs. You're good, right? Is it going to fix it?
No, it masks it.
It's going to mask it, exactly, because your problem wasn't due to a lack of anti-inflammatory in your system. Problem is, are you yucking that? I love it. I love it. That Celsius? Whoo! So, problem is, inflammation is causing a problem. Inflammation is affecting your nervous system and your brain first, and then it's spreading through the rest of your body. Your body heals through your nervous system. If I get a cut on my toe, the only way my body knows about it is because my brain goes, oh, there's information that goes down my spinal cord, down the sciatic nerve, into my toe. Right? I step on a nail. The information goes up my foot, up that nerve, my spinal cord to my brain. My brain goes, take your foot off the nail. Makes sense, right? Well, your body is trying to heal yourself. The cells are constantly being broken down and reproduced, and you're regenerating muscle tissue, you're regenerating mass, you're regenerating all these things, right? If you're putting crap in your body, your nervous system is being impeded, and you cannot heal. Your nervous system is why people are sick when they eat. It is all neurological. Every single one of the drugs that you take affect your nervous system, which then affects the body. Do you understand that concept? It's so important, okay? Now, if you've got joint pain, you've got inflammation. You're probably eating something that's irritating your nervous system, irritating your joints. Okay? It's settling on in those joints. How do you know that it could be inflammation in your joints? Well, so first of all, your joints hurt. Secondly, if you don't use it, and then you go to use it, and you're like, oh, that's worse. And then you start using it, it's like, okay, that's better. That's typically like arthritis, joint pain, degeneration, right? If you start using it and you're like, oh my gosh, that's worse, that's an active inflammatory response that your body can't keep up with. Make sense? So put something in your body that can actually heal that. These are the most common symptoms of inflammation in the nervous system. Inflammation from diet. Do they look familiar to any of you? Most people have almost all of these. Right? This is why Americans are sick. By the way, inflammation in the brain, that brain fog where you're like, where did I put my keys? Why did I come down here? What am I supposed to be doing right now? That brain fog where you can't remember anything, that's inflammation in the brain. Stress affects the brain. Anxiety and depression are brain inflammation. They're due to brain inflammation. Your brain does not feel pain. So the only way your brain can tell your body, I've got a problem, is because your brain's not functioning the way it's supposed to. You have to judge brain health based on function. Anxiety and depression are two functional tests, two functional screens that we use to help people identify their brain inflammation. Okay? Gluten, super interesting. There's something called gluten ataxia. People eat gluten, it actually affects the brainstem. They become really clumsy. They start tripping over things. It's very, very interesting. You can diagnose it. You give them gluten and then see what happens to their body because it affects the brain. Because the gluten protein is the same shape as your brainstem protein, so your body attacks both. And then people get autoimmune diseases. How many of you here know somebody who has an autoimmune disease at this point? It's all over the place. Nobody knows? Anybody with autoimmune disease?
Lupus is autoimmune.
Yeah, lupus is autoimmune. Okay, yeah. So thyroid conditions, all of those things, right? It'll affect all these things. So if you have these symptoms, you can either fight them with your diet or you can feed them with your diet. Think of it that way, okay? We actually have a really cool technology in the back. Some of you did it last time. That's awesome. You can do it here where we can actually scan your nervous system and you'll get colors. And you'll see if your body is inflamed and where that inflammation is. Now, what's causing inflammation? That's our job to figure out. We can help you figure that out for sure. If you got aches and pains, we can help you with that. It's a nervous system issue. If you want to drop some weight, we can definitely help you with that too if you want to. Start with the stuff I already gave you though. Like that's baby steps. You don't need to pay me to do those things that we just talked about. Just do what I said. You will lose weight. Protein, fat, some carbs. Use that as a measurement when it comes to the number of carbs you're eating and increase your lean activities. You will lose weight. It's very, very simple. It doesn't need to be complicated, you guys, okay? When you eat, you're either healing your nervous system or hurting it. Don't hurt your nervous system. How many of you know people that are in their 70s and 80s and they're losing their mind? It's really sad. It's one of the saddest places to ever go is a retirement home. Because those people are scared and they're lonely and they are miserable. And they make other people miserable. When you put something in your body, you're either speeding that process along or you're slowing that process down. Make sense? Okay. So there you go. Those are the top 5 mistakes you are making with your health. Now remember, we talked about inflammation in this talk. Inflammation is incredibly detrimental to your health. If you have signs of inflammation, brain fog, joint pain, fatigue, anything, digestive issues, anything along those lines, we are here to help you. Do not hesitate to call us because we can help you be a lot more healthy.